Ben here from Thrive WP. How's it going? So yeah, I've done it. I've installed Breakdance. I didn't think I would. I've been an Elementor user for quite a few years. So yeah, I've kind of I've had an Oxygen license as well, and dabbled with Oxygen a few times. And I'm sure everyone's aware of kind of the origins of Breakdance and how it all came about. And I kind of vowed when I first heard about it that I wouldn't even touch it. Just kind of purely from a, I guess from a principles kind of thing, when you're using a builder and then suddenly the company behind it goes, do you know what, we're just going to create a new one. You kind of feel like you've kind of been a bit of a kick in the teeth, I guess. So I kind of avoided it and thought, no, not going to look at it, not going to bother. I'll go with Bricks, or maybe I'll stay with Elemental. But looking at more and more of the videos, there's a lot of kind of quality of life things that just really look helpful in Breakdance. So I'm going to start doing some videos pretty much from a newbie perspective, because there's going to be lots of people that maybe have used Elemental like I have for years, and whether you're an advanced user of Elementor or whether you're just a beginner who just uses the pre-built templates, you're probably going to be thinking, what is Breakdance? Should I try it? Should I not? Is it worth it? And because I've been an Oxygen lifetime license owner anyway, I get a year free. So I thought, why not put it to use? Let's have a go at Breakdance and see what it can do. So I'm going to do a few videos creating different parts of a website. Eventually it'll be creating a whole website, but it gives newbies to Breakdance, or people potentially looking to purchase Breakdance, an idea of what it's like from an Elemental user's perspective. So like I said, I've solely used Elementor in the last few years. So once you've installed your plugin, you get a menu here. You've got your templates. It's nice that they separate header and footer in here rather than having to go to like a theme builder like you do in Elementor. So you can kind of see straight away if you want to get to one of those. You've got global blocks, which I think works similar to like the global blocks you have in Elementor, but obviously again it's nice to have it here. Form submissions and settings. So I'll quickly have a look at the settings. Put my license in already. Global styles, so yeah, you can edit those in Breakdance itself. Theme, so they recommend not to use a theme, so disable the theme system. I'm going to go with that because that's what they recommend, and it will probably help with performance and so on. And I personally want to build out my whole site as well. I don't want to rely on a theme to manage the header and stuff like that. WooCommerce settings, we don't have WooCommerce installed, but I'm going to leave that as is, because from what I gather, Breakdance automatically styles out WooCommerce anyway to make it quite nice as a kind of basis, as foundations. Whereas things like Elementor, they just take the WooCommerce standard styling, and then you can style on top of that. But Breakdance take a bit of a different approach, and they kind of pre-style it so it looks nice to start with, and then you can work on top of that. User access, so obviously who can have access to Breakdance. You've got maintenance modes, you can create a page and choose which page that is. You can set up some user stuff to bypass the maintenance mode. Got some performance options, so you can remove things like the Gutenberg blocks CSS, which loads some CSS. Remove pingbacks, yeah, I'm going to do that. Remove emojis -- icons for logged out users yet, because they don't need to be loaded for logged out users. I'm going to leave embed on for now. So yeah, you can just go through these settings and decide for yourself what works for you. API keys, so things like your reCAPTCHA and stuff, your MailChimp, things like that you want to connect to through Breakdance. So in the forms you can have your reCAPTCHAs. You might want to use MailChimp to kind of capture people for newsletters and stuff, for your mailing list. So then you've got post types, and basically you can pick and choose what you want to be able to edit with Breakdance. You can choose all public and allow post types. So we're just going to go for page, I think, because the rest we're going to build out anyway. So like things like posts, we're going to build out a full archive template anyway, and then this individual post template. So I'd imagine we wouldn't need to select posts there. Advanced, you can enable this option to make Breakdance run, apply fields to the content, singular content. Not quite sure what that is. I'm going to leave that, seeing as it's under advanced for now. Design sets, custom design sets. Right, so I've watched a video about this. So apparently, similar to Elementor kits, you can set this website to be a design set. It'll give you a individual URL. Yeah, there we go. And basically you can use that. So you can copy that, and then when you install Breakdance on another website, you'd come to here, you'd paste that link in here, and that would pull in that whole site. So all the templates for that site, obviously this one, would be pulled in. So that's a really awesome feature, just to be able to have a link to do that with. I'm going to turn that back off. And then you've got things like custom code for your headers and footers. And then we've got tools, so you can regenerate the CSS cache. You can soft reset stuff. You can do a total reset, create directories. So what is that? Create the directories on the server that are required for Breakdance to function properly. In theory, they should be there, I don't know. Should we click that anyway, see what happens? Yep, okay. Okay, so you've got a bit of a old URL replace type thing. Import settings, export settings. We can export, so all of these settings we've set, we can export those and we can reuse them on other sites as well, which is really useful. So we don't have to kind of keep setting up settings. So I'm going to look at building a header first, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to use our current site as a template, because we're looking to kind of redesign it anyway. So as a basis, that's what we're going to use, and then some other things for inspiration. So we give our header a name. Where do we want it to apply? Everywhere, although you can have different headers for different places if you so wish. And then you can have conditions as well, so you can have things like a particular author, whether a user's logged in or logged out, those kind of things. But we're just going to leave it like that to apply everywhere. So there's our header, and now we can edit in Breakdance, and we'll get a first look at what Breakdance looks like, really. Looking at some of the videos I've watched, it looks similar to other builders like Elementor and so on, but obviously it is different. So we've just got a blank page. What I quite like is you've not got the side panel open straight away, so it's just a nice clean blank page. You can see here you're editing the header, and if we click add, that's when we then get our elements and we can search for those. So I'm just going to search for the header builder, and I'm going to drop that in there. So now we've got a header builder. If we go over here, this will open the structure panel. Okay, so now we've got our header. And what I want in my header is I want a logo, so I'm going to search for an image. And I also want a menu. So now you've got a couple of options for menus in Breakdance. So you've got your WP menu, which basically pulls in the menu from your appearance section and your menus in there. So that'll automatically just pull in your menu from there. Or you've got your menu builder, where you can do mega menus and stuff like that. So I can pop that in here. I will now pop our logo in somewhere. So I've just been messing around with different logos, so I'm just going to pop that in for now. So there's our logo. We've got it full size. So we can go max width 100%. and then we can go 50. Oh, okay. That might be a bit of a bug, possibly. Not sure. What size is that image? 252 in width. So let's go 252 pixels in width, and then we're going 50%. Yeah, odd. Okay, so that's fine. So that's our logo. We've got a menu over here that's kind of already pre-built for us, just so we get an idea. So this first one is just a normal link. Then we've got a menu drop down, menu drop down, menu drop down, and then we've got a menu custom drop down. Okay, and the custom drop down is where you can kind of add some more, you know, funky stuff. But if you have a look over here, so if we click on the custom drop down, we've got about, which is obviously this top bit here, then we've got a link. But then within that, we can add other elements. So if I wanted to add, let's say, a button, I could then pop a button in here, and then that comes within that custom drop down. So you can kind of put any element in here and style that out, which is really cool. Something that you definitely don't have in Elementor for sure. So we've got menu drop downs, and the other thing to note is, which is useful when you're editing, is when you're clicking on one of those, is to select the show, sorry, not show another section, I think it's in the menu builder. There we go, so keep menu selected while styling. So you click that, and then obviously when you click a particular thing, this will now stay open, so I can then start editing over here but see the changes. So maybe I want to change the background of this section. So we'll go wrapper, and we'll give it like a, I don't know, a lightish purpley colour for now. So you can see the changes happening in real time. So let's build out our menu. So we've got our home, which I will just leave it at that for now. We've got our pricing page, so I'm just going to copy the link. I want a standard link for that, so I'm just going to copy. Can I duplicate? Yep, duplicate that menu link. I'm going to call that pricing. I'm going to pop our, no, we're not going to do that because that's not going to work, is it? Can we search? Yeah. It's that one. Okay, and so that's home pricing, and we've got our services. So I may, although I'm not sure I want it like that. Now I know we've got another one, so okay, I might use this one. So I might get rid of products for now, and then we'll use this one. So we'll call this, was it services? Yeah, services. There we go. And then by the looks of it, okay, so you've got a column there, so you could, I guess you could, yeah, okay, so you can have 2 columns or 3 columns. That's cool. That's good. So you click on your column, and then you've got your individual links within there. So what have we got first? We've got our pricing page, white label. Okay, so let's go for WordPress maintenance services. I don't know if I want a description just yet. I may add that later, but we'll think about that. Just trying to get this built out first, really, and then we can think about the finer details again. So you can add icons and images as well, which I won't do just yet. So what was the other one? Let's go white label. Oops. Just adjust these so it's the same as what we're using currently. We'll pop another link in. There we go. maintenance service. I'll leave that one for now because that just links to the home page anyway. Just trying to copy and paste this because it's just a bit quicker, but maybe it's not. WordPress website design. Okay, so let's change that. Get rid of that, and then we'll find another link. So you can kind of see how quick and easy it is to kind of build things out. It doesn't take too long at all. So what else have we got? Malware removals, part services. Okay, so this one can be malware removal. Get rid of the description. Do a quick search. One thing I have noticed is that, we'll just duplicate that last one so we can use it for support services. Yeah, one thing I've noticed which is really good is the builder is very quick. When you're kind of moving around, things are loading, saving. It seems to load pretty well in comparison to Elementor, I guess. Although Elementor's not slow when you're kind of editing, really. I know a lot of people go, oh yeah, it's really slow, but I don't necessarily find that myself. But I do think Breakdance feels just that little bit more snappy. I don't know, maybe that's just you know, placebo or something. I don't know. Right, so that's our services built out. What have we got next? About. So we've got an about there. I might just duplicate this one and use that as an about. So you get the idea of building out the menus. Okay, so I won't do much more for now, just because, you know, I want to try and keep this video fairly concise, just to kind of get the header built out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of that last one because I'm not going to use that just yet. We'll keep our menu like that. So now what I want to do is I want to start thinking about styling. Okay, so if we click on our main menu builder, you can see you can add things from this side. So I'm just going to do that again. If you go to menu builder, you can add your normal drop down, you can add a menu button, menu link. So let's add a menu button, and then that adds it right next to the menu, which is great. You can put it in between if you really want to, but that's cool. So we've got our menu button, and it's currently taking on global styles. I think I set some global styles. We'll touch on that in a minute, very briefly. Okay, but let's just go to the menu. So let's go to styling. Okay, and then we've got desktop menu, we've got links, so we can change typography, although I'm going to use global styles for that. We can change effects, effect type, so yeah, I do want an underline, and effect direction, so I think, yeah, so I want it coming in from the left like that, that's great. Thickness, I only want it to be 1 pixel, that's fine, and then colour, I'm going to use our global colour that I added. So already you can see, oh, and if you click this edit icon up here, you can kind of open and shut the side panel, which is great, you get a better view. So already you can see that we now have, you know, some styling options in our menu. Okay, and then obviously when you click, your drop down pops out. I believe you should be able to set some settings based on the drop down. So you've got your padding, your borders, so on and so forth. Advanced. Right. Just thinking of animations and stuff. Wrap, hover, layout, so spacing, border, effects. Transition. Ease in, out. Like, I'm just going to do, let's go for 1. Not sure about that. By the way, once you've edited stuff, you'll see a little dot next to it, so you know where your styling or edits are coming from. So you can just clear that out. But yeah, I'm not sure. Oh, animation. So maybe scrolling animation, insert animation. No. So I'm not quite sure where or how you would edit the kind of styling of. So you know, for instance, when you click it and it kind of comes down. You can see it slightly fades in and out, but where you set that, I'm not quite sure. So it would be the wrapper, columns, no, so that would be the columns within additional settings. Yeah, not quite sure on that. As you can see in advance, you've got classes and stuff. Hide and breakpoint, conditions, animations. Again, it's just, yeah, don't know. But that's, you know, again, that's one of those things learning as a beginner is trying to figure out those things, and when I do, I shall let you know. At the moment, I have not the foggiest where you'd set that. But we have our menu built out pretty much. So that's our header. We've set the we've set it to be an entire site. So we're just going to save that. And once that's saved, we'll click exit and go to the front end. And you can see there's our header, all functioning as we expect. So now we want to look at the global styles briefly, because obviously we've taken in some colours from that. So best practice is to not set individual element styling. So don't go to the menu, then set the typography for that and what have you. Use your global settings, because it's going to be the best way to manage your website. So when you start adding things, adding buttons, adding elements, all your stuff can be here. So you can see we've already styled a bit our buttons. The good thing that I like about Breakdance is you get a primary and secondary option for buttons, whereas Elementor you only get one option. So that's really cool. So I've set a background for our primary buttons to be brand colour. I've set it to be rounded, although I can have square buttons, and as you see that one changes straight away. We can have custom and then kind of choose the border radius ourselves. Then we've got effects. So then this is where we can choose, you know, some scale on hover stuff, you know, the transition of that. We can add a shadow if we want to, all things like that. But we're not going to do that for now. And then you've got icons as well, so you could add an icon on your button as well. And again, that would apply to all primary buttons that you use. Okay, so yeah, that's it really in a nutshell. Okay, and then we shall go to the secondary, and again, so we've got a background colour on our secondary, and we've got a kind of normal colour for our typography and what have you. You know, we've got different options for the buttons themselves, so again, you know, you can choose whatever you like. You've got typography here. So you can set that all up for your button. Okay, anything you want to set is all there. You can add an outline, so if you want to have an outline, that's where your outline colour will be. No fill on hover, all that kind of stuff. So it removes the fill when you're on hover. Okay, so we'll just get rid of our outline. So that's what we want for that button. So you've got that's the kind of global settings for all buttons. Then we've got our colours. So we've set our brand colour, our text colour. What do I want my text colour to be? I think something like that. That's fine. Headings, we want something like kind of darker, maybe Yeah, a bit darker. It's kind of like close to black, but not quite. Links, let's go for a bluish colour because that's generally what we have. And we've got background colour, and then we've got palette, so we can then add colours. So these are kind of just the standard globals, and then we can add more colours to this. So let's just add a random one, so on, so forth. Okay, so then we've got you know, an additional palette. So when we're then editing stuff, okay, and we can choose whether we've got primary. This is a primary button or a secondary, so you can see it automatically changes. Custom or text. So if we go here and we want to choose some colours for a background, what you see is we've got all our colours here. So those are the default ones, and then these are from our actual palette that we created. So that's really cool. So yeah, those two colours there. And then you've got your typography, and again you can choose your heading font, your body font, and then your base size and stuff. So this is really interesting. I haven't got any text at the moment, so I think what I'm going to do is do another video purely on the global settings, but that gives you just a general overview, a brief kind of look at, you know, building some elements, building a header, some of the global stuff, some of the elements that you can add. But I will do another video for the full global settings, and look through some of the other stuff, and we'll start building out a homepage or doing our footer next, and looking at that. Alright, don't forget to thumbs up and share away. Subscribe to the channel as well, because I will be doing lots more videos on Breakdance and other builders and just general WordPress stuff that's helpful.